Welcome back to another episode of Brunch N Banter. On this episode, we are going to be talking about the pressure to be okay all the time. Why we say I'm fine when we really are not fine sometimes. We will dive into the emotional and psychological toll of pretending to be okay. We explore how masking emotions affects mental health, the fears behind vulnerability, I hate that word, and the subtle signs that we're
Vulnerability?
that we're emotionally checked out. So, I'm going to start with the question. Have you ever told someone I'm okay just because it was easier than telling them the truth?
Is that a question for me? Yes, of course.
We all have.
As a self-proclaimed empath,
Mhm.
I know what it's like to carry on other people's emotions, so I don't want to burden them with that,
Mhm.
So I'm just like, it's easier just to say like, yeah, I'm good, instead of saying like, no, I'm not good. And especially like now as a mother, because like you could be seen as, I guess, weak
Mhm.
and as not a very strong mother, or like mentally not
Unstable.
fully there, yeah. And then they'd be questioning like, oh, can you even like be a proper parent right now just because you're not emotionally stable?
Yeah. And it's funny because, like, if you don't talk about it, then you do become emotionally unstable because you're holding it all back, and then it explodes out of nowhere. And then we're
Yeah.
deemed emotionally unstable again.
And not even that, just to also like touch on uh postpartum, like it takes 2 full years for your hormones to go back to normal for a mom. Like that's
You're almost
wild.
there, Nana.
I know. That's what I was telling Addis too. Like this like past month, I've literally have felt most like myself since I ever have no how I felt most like myself in this past month more than I ever have since I've given birth. What about you, Addis?
I'm sure I have, I'm sure it's like, maybe like in the past, in the present, whenever, like, especially if you're going through something, like, say, when, when mom was in the hospital, I'm pretty sure, like, I felt like my emotions all over the place, but I finished my day at work, and it was so hard because I was, like, trying so hard not to, like, cry and not to, like, leave, And just my dad, because it's true, like, what I could have gone to the hospital. What was I gonna do, though? I was just gonna sit there, like, there's nothing for me to actually try to do to make it better.
Yeah.
So it's, like, stuff like that where you just kinda, like, I didn't tell anybody what was happening other than my manager, and, even then, like, I mean, nobody asked me because didn't tell them. I didn't, like, try to express my emotions because I didn't wanna be seen as, like, "Oh, she's emotionally not well, like, she needs to go home?"
And I feel like most people wouldn't see like that. They'd be like, "Oh, what's wrong?" or
Mhm.
what is happening?" Uh and even like when that was happening, it's like, "Oh, well, I don't really want to talk about it because like, she's actively going through it."
Mhm.
So it's not really like their business to know, but it's like you also want to find a way to like vent how you feel. But the only people
Mhm.
you could probably talk to at that point was just like Lily or Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you don't wanna explain everything to them.
I think that's what it is a lot of the times. It's like it takes more energy to like explain when
Mhm.
you're not feeling yourself, that I feel like it's easier to just say okay, even though you're not okay.
Yeah. And also, like, talking about it, you're gonna go through the emotions, and sometimes maybe, like, you don't wanna cry, or you don't want people to pity you, or you just don't wanna, or I guess you don't want the attention too either, so it just kinda depends.
But there's only so much you can take, because at that point, that's why people are asking you
Yeah.
why you're okay, if you're okay, because they can tell that either something's off or they're in the know of
Mhm.
like something that might be happening. And then
Yeah.
it's just.
Yeah, and then you don't want them, like, trying to, like, talk to you or walk on eggshells around you because they don't know what will trigger you.
And I feel like just depending on what it is too, sometimes you don't even want to talk about it. You just want to like distract yourself because like you guys said, there's like nothing you can literally do.
Yeah.
Mhm. But then that brings on emotional suppression, which like it's exhausting. Honestly, it's exhausting, and it compounds over time, and that kind of leads to like where people like burst out of nowhere. And it's like, you know how they say like you're in a married life, and then like say you tell your husband, oh, take out the trash, but they never actually do, and then you go do it all the time, and then you're sitting down having spaghetti and there's no cheese on the table, and then you just cry because there's no cheese on the table. But it's not really the cheese. It's the fact that you have been telling him all these things that he or they or whoever it is not doing, and then you're just like done.
Yeah, if you bottle it up, it's gonna explode like a Coke, you know? You shake it up and try to open it, it's just gonna go everywhere.
Exactly. So like stuff like that could actually lead to even more long-term things such as like anxiety, depression, panic attacks, chronic fatigue, I didn't know this, but muscle retention and stress-related illnesses.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people too, like they can get I think it's called TMJ, where they're like always like constantly clenching their jaw, and I know you can get like Botox in your jaw to like stop it, but
yeah, it does. I didn't know that either, that it could like create tension in your jaw where you need to get like stuff for it. Which makes sense because like when you're like stressed and you grind down, you know?
Like, bite down, yeah.
Yeah, and you get like tension because you're trying to hold it in and you don't want to let it out. These things often lead to like emotional detachment or a sudden outburst of minor stressors, like we were saying with the spaghetti.
The cheese.
I don't know if I've ever felt that way. I feel like I don't. I feel like I usually will like either talk about my emotions or cry my emotions out.
Get in the shower and cry?
No, I literally like when I was younger, I used to like this probably sounds a little mental. I used to get a pair of scissors and my little pillow, and I would stab my pillow because I was so mad at somebody.
That sounds like you wanted a voodoo doll.
I was mad. I didn't know.
Francisco, beware.
He's not here no more. I didn't know how to like express my emotions other than that way. And it was probably because the fact that like our parents never talk about emotions and we never go through these things, and I didn't know how to express them. And it wasn't until like later on I actually realized you could actually just talk and it's fine.
She's like, I discovered therapy.
Right?
I was like 15 or 14. I don't even know how old I was.
That's a deep, dark secret right there.
Oh, there's more.
Wild.
Oh.
This is sad, but I used to think that nobody liked me because my grandma was very mean to us, and I used to think that she didn't love me, and I was like, the world would be better off without me kind of feelings. Yeah, dark.
Oh my God.
But I got over those, and I'm okay now. So I went from like anger to sad to I'm okay.
Oh my God.
I'm not laughing because it's funny, by the way. I'm laughing probably because of that's just my reaction to these emotions, talking about them.
I know, we're over here just laughing.
It's not funny, okay?
No, it's
but
not.
it isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it is because like just because of the way we know you. We don't know you like that, but
I know.
Yeah, because I don't talk about those kinds of things to other people.
Like when I think about it, I've never come to you for like anything like that either.
Well, yeah, because it's not in us. It's not in us to talk about things like that. I think it wasn't until later on where we actually talked about stuff.
Because like when I think about it now, I'm like, back then I really did see you as a sister, and like now I see you more like as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not saying you're not my sister, but like
she's not your sister.
I feel like we've like really
In case you didn't know.
I'm just kidding.
We've really grown like as people and as independent people, obviously, and where I can see you more as like a friend and a sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's nice.
Yeah, I think so too. What about you, Chell? Tell us about something that you've done or you've suppressed or something.
Yeah, because like, do you talk to your brother like that? Like,
Yeah.
do you guys talk about like anything?
Anything? You guys don't talk.
Well, we do talk, but not like about our feelings. It's just, it's different when you have like the opposite sex as like a sibling.
I know.
Like, I don't know.
I feel like I've never really seen him in any other emotion besides like mad and happy.
That's true. I just noticed that too.
I mean, I'm sure he has feelings, you know, he just doesn't show them. You know, like it's, I don't know.
I've seen him slightly annoyed. I know that. Not at me, but like at situations with other family members. Members.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Did your parents like? Did you ever have like any like super emotional talks with your parents, or was that ever like a thing?
No, I think that was just like how our family is. Like we just don't really go that route.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. Cause like I think the one time I had ever really spoken to Addis where I was concerned is like the first time we had ever seen our parents have like a bigger fight.
Oh yes.
I remember I texted her in the middle of the night and I was like, I'm scared.
Are we okay?
Was it the time that mom went to sleep in the living room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I was scared too. I was like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
are
I
parents
was
gonna
crying in my
split?
room.
Yeah.
But then I think Dad got her to go back to the room.
Yeah.
And stuff. I remember. I remember she's like, it's okay, I hear them talking.
Yeah. At the time, our room was by the living room, right?
Yeah, she had
Yeah.
the biggest room at that time.
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah.
I had the room where she's at right now.
Yeah, we don't know what the fight was about. We're not gonna ask, but like,
It was just like an awkward situation.
Yeah, we heard her get up like out of the room and go sleep on the couch, and I was just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then like maybe 5 minutes later, my dad went and like got her.
Yeah. I think that's like the only time I ever like. I remember like actually like I guess it's not really speaking because I texted her, but like the first time I went to her for like a form of support.
So your parents aren't very like emotional,
Dad is,
but like our moms.
I feel like I've only seen my mom cry one time when she got really, really messed up drunk, and she was crying over her dad's funeral, and then my dad went to go console her, like to have her take a shower or whatever, and just kind of like
traumatized me.
Yeah, and then that's the only time I think.
But I never saw her drunk after that ever again.
Yeah, she doesn't get to that point anymore. I mean, obviously she wouldn't. I wouldn't either, you know? Because your kids see you going through these emotions and it's a little, not unstable. It's maybe just she has a lot of suppression, a lot of emotions suppressed that she hasn't probably talked about.
Needs therapy.
Oh my God.
Low-key? Yeah.
But they had to like grow up really fast too, just because of the situation.
She was 11 when her dad passed away. And right away they had to go to work because, I mean, just to let everybody know, this is back in like 1980, back in Mexico.
When child labor was okay.
Yeah, where child labor is still probably okay. But yeah, so she had to like go work and like help out my grandma with like the job, and my tia Laura I think did too, right?
No, I think it was my mom that went and your mom stayed and watched me
No, I think mom said she worked. She worked like she worked.
Also, did they take them all?
I don't know, but I remember her saying that she used to work in the fields before. But I know that also she worked at this like I don't know if it's petroleum or gas or something. She used to scam people. She would like charge them a certain amount, but she would like take extra. I don't know what she would do, but she would take the extra home and then go get candy and stuff. I don't know how old she was at this time, but
is that where you guys got it from?
Allegedly,
probably. Allegedly. This allegedly happened.
Everything's allegedly.
She was smart.
So I think like that probably kind of shaped her into like not expressing her emotions. Because think about it, my grandma is kind of mean sometimes, and she's kind of like don't be a baby kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I could see how she grew up that way, and then how she continued to grow up in that sense. And then when she had kids, she probably just didn't know that, you know, because she didn't learn that either.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
She just had a bunch of emotional babies.
Just
a bunch of Scorpios, because me and Nana are the emotional ones and we're Scorpios.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So did we make up for the...
Apparently.
Oh my God.
Because I remember one time my grandma, she got mad. I don't know what you guys did, but you guys did something. And I was the one who got in trouble, and she threw a chancla at me and it hit my face, and I went and I slammed my door and I just cried.
No.
Yeah, I got blamed for a lot of things you guys did, by the way.
Yeah,
it was very
did.
unfair. And I wasn't even there. I was in the living room.
But they always said that you were her favorite.
Well, yeah, because I was the firstborn. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
In a way, though, that did teach us, like, to be able to express our emotions more rather than suppress them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm pretty good at like controlling my emotions now.
Me too, in a certain sense. Kind of. Okay, yesterday when I was at the rodeo, they were listing like the people who had passed away from the Elks Lodge, and I was kind of feeling a little emotions coming in, and I was like, well, I know it's not my period because I just had it. So I think I was just feeling in my emotions.
I got the emotional. What do I call her? Because when she sees another baby cry, she'll start crying too.
She's a sympathy crier.
Yeah, sympathy crier. Call her a sympathy crier.
Maybe she'll be an empath too.
Do you feel like you're super emotional too, Chen?
I think I can be for sure.
You know, if I think about you, I feel like you're not, just based off like who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're like pretty confident, pretty
Put together.
Yeah, like strong.
You should see my hair right now.
Yeah, you know what? You kind of remind me kind of like Mimi a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Like you and Mimi are kind of alike in a way.
Yeah.
Because I guess I don't really like, how like when people say like, oh, describe yourself, you're like, well, what the hell do I say?
I say I'm nice.
Yeah.
You know what I think
Usually.
of? Oh, well, I guess that's affirmations. I think of because have you guys seen that TikTok where it says like, oh, morning affirmations, and it's the Bring It On song. They're like, I'm popular, I'm cute.
Yeah.
The boys are like me too.
Yeah, I think of that.
Yeah. So then, since you say that you're not like super emotional, do you feel like you suppress your emotions more then?
When I was pregnant, I feel like I was really emotional, like in every
You're a
way, shape,
Gemini,
and
huh?
form. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that kind of makes sense because I think my mom is kind of like Mimi too. I don't know when Mimi was born, but
Yeah.
Mom's a Gemini too.
mhm.
Yeah.
So, how do you physically feel when you are emotionally holding everything in? Like, do you notice any mood swings, any snapping at small things? Which I actually do notice that on myself. I'll snap at things. I'm a snappy person, like old turtle.
I feel like you're just like, it can put you on edge, and so any little thing can like trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like the whole spaghetti and the cheese thing. It's like any like little thing will trigger you, but it takes like the right thing to like fully just
Mm-hmm.
offsend you.
I feel like a lot of times it's like the smallest little thing that will do that.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you were able to get through all day, but you not being able to put on your shoe will like kill you,
Yeah, I could see that.
That was like the final straw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I notice any like mood swings generally. Like I don't get like happy, sad, mad kind of thing. It's more like just the snapping. Like for me at least, I will snap if I feel like something is pestering me, and then I just needs that one little thing that just makes me snap.
I feel like I'm like that too because I don't think I like go into sadness or anything like that. I feel like overall I'm usually fairly happy.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I get told I'm usually always happy all the time.
Ooh, she's a happy person.
Happy camper.
Yeah.
What about you, Chen?
I don't think it's like physical. I think it's just like the smallest little thing will just like send you.
Yeah.
Like I don't think maybe like stress, but I mean it's not really like I get physically ill or anything like that.
Yeah, I think stress is a big one for sure.
Yeah, I could see that too. So then, like when you mask your emotions, you sometimes I want to say the reason we probably mask our emotions mostly are because that freaking word I hate, vulnerability.
Yeah, vulnerability.
Like you don't want to feel vulnerable, you don't want to have that come out because you want to like at least I think most people I don't know like people my age I feel like are grew up like their parents telling them you have to have like this mask on, you can't like let people in like that.
I think it's like
you know
a
what I
form
mean?
of weakness too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's saying that way.
Like you gotta suck it up, you gotta be strong, you gotta get up and keep walking kind of thing. And it's mostly because like they'll be like, well, when I was your age, and it's like, okay, well, like we're in a different age, like we can't compare like what you did when you were a kid to what I'm doing when I'm a kid, like a totally different era.
Yeah, because like now kids grow up like with Miss Rachel, and Miss Rachel sings about your big emotions being okay.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to be sad and it's okay to be mad because it'll pass. You
Yeah.
figure out why you feel the way you feel, like what's causing it, you talk about it, you work yourself through it, and then you're happy again.
Yeah, because if you really think about it, like, kids have emotions. Like, they feel things. They know, and they might not know why, but they do feel it. So, like,
Yeah.
I feel like most parents back then, they kind of disregarded that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're just crying because they want to cry. And it's like, no, usually there's, like, a little bit of a
Yeah.
reason why.
Yeah, 'cause, like, back then, it's like, "You wanna cry, I'll give you something to cry about."
Yeah,
And it's like,
Oh yeah.
they're
that was my mom.
crying, you help them figure out, like, "Why are you crying? What's wrong? What's making you
Mm-hmm.
upset? Let's work through this. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out, take 3 big breaths and, calm yourself down." And, you have to help them, like, regulate their emotions because 'cause they're so small, they don't know how. And if
Mm-hmm.
you don't teach them how, then you're only just gonna be creating the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not gonna know how to handle their emotions and when they're older, and they're gonna be a literal mess as an adult.
And I think I kind of, the time that I stayed with you guys for a while, I think it was the first time when you guys had all the little girls over in Texas. I remember
Yeah.
seeing Renee talking to, I think all three of them. They were all upset about something or another.
Oh, but they
And
yeah, they would fight a lot.
yeah, so then she would tell him, like, okay, tell me what happened. Why is she crying? And then she tells the girl, okay, why are you crying? Okay, and then the other one, okay, what happened? To get like the three stories and see what lines up and what doesn't. And then
She's
she's
like,
like,
you guys are
well,
all in trouble.
well, not that, but she would like tell him like, okay, well, do you get why she's mad? Why she's sad? Like, do you understand that this, and this? And it's like, you can't be doing that because that's rude. That's not nice. Or like, she kind of talks
Yeah.
them through their emotions like that. And I thought that
Mhm.
was like interesting because I'd never seen that in my life. And I
I
was like,
know.
I kind of like that style of teaching because it's like you're not even yelling at them to like, hey, stop crying, you're all in trouble, kind of thing, you know? It's like, no,
Yeah.
you're getting
Mm-hmm.
down to like the point of what happened and why it's not okay.
Yeah.
And like if you're vulnerable with somebody, it kind of does. It's like the only way to really like um heal and to enable that trust with that person.
Mhm.
It helps you like relate to others.
But I also feel like it's easier to do it like as a female than a male.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because boys don't cry, remember? Because
Boys don't feel emotions.
that's what Kyle always tells me. He's like, real men don't cry, and I'm like, it's
Mm,
okay to cry, like, because like for him, like he technically was kind of like raised in that way by his dad,
mm.
where like he can't have all these bigger emotions because he's a boy. Like we've had heart to heart like talks like that, like he's cried in front of me, obviously, but like I tell him too, I'm like, it's okay, like to feel your emotions, like you
That's hard
know,
sometimes though for somebody to break down like that, like to like open
Especially
up
if
like
they're
yeah.
not
that.
like used to it or it's something that they
Hmm.
don't normally do.
It takes time.
Yeah, and literally, like, when you make yourself so vulnerable, you basically, like, it's like someone basically seeing you naked,
Hmm.
Like, it's it's such an intimate thing, like, to fully make yourself vulnerable.
I think so too. I think it's like you feel, honestly, you could probably feel misunderstood rather than like actually understood. You know,
Yeah,
you feel like
definitely.
you're on your own kind of thing when you actually do have somebody you could rely on.
Yeah,
And we
and
all probably do have that person in our life. We just don't realize it.
yeah, like, you won't know until you start talking.
Tell me about a time where you were vulnerable and it went well, where somebody surprised you with support, or a
Oh.
time where you felt misunderstood and dismissed after opening up and how you moved through that. Just to warn you guys, this next part is a time where I was misunderstood, but I am going to tell you guys about a story about me. A story I really don't tell many people, but in order to understand why I was misunderstood, you must know the story. Trigger warning for anybody out there on sexual assault. If this is something that could be triggering to you, just fast forward. It's about maybe 2 minutes or so. If you are okay to proceed, go ahead and keep listening. I think to me, a time I felt misunderstood. I don't know if you guys know this story about me, but if you guys don't know, this is gonna be hard for me to tell you guys. I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh, yes. I can, like, vaguely imagine her in my head.
You guys remember her dad?
Oh, no. Who's her dad?
I don't remember his name because we don't talk to them anymore.
I remember her, but I do not remember her dad.
Well, like honestly, like no, not many people know the story about me, but pretty much the reason we don't talk to them is probably because of me. I have very vivid memory of him doing stuff to me when I was like 5 at mi tía Marco's house.
What?
You don't know this?
No?
Oh. Well, the reason I think, but my parents went to the cops for it, and I was 10 when I told them. I didn't know what was going on, you know. And when they went to the cops, like what I remember was me and Ontiveros in a room with 2 police officers, 2 male police officers, and nobody else in there, and them asking me like exactly what happened, and I was so scared. I don't think that's the way you're supposed to do it nowadays, but yeah. So that's the reason why we don't talk to them that much anymore.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. And I remember one time my grandma, we were at a party and she made me go say hi to him. And I was like, fuck no. I was like, no, I'm not going to go say hi to him.
That's sad.
I know. But, what's it called? I remember there was a time where I told somebody that story and I told them how mad I was at that person and how, I do not forgive them for what they did and how that is one person I wish could die in the world. And that the person I was telling this to, they were like, you gotta get over it. Like, it's okay. And I was like, no.
That's so sad. Like, why didn't you ever talk to it? Like,
because I get emotional when I talk about it. It's hard.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing, too, like, where they say it's always going to be hard talking about it unless you, like, talk about it regularly. Because, like, obviously, with how emotional it makes you, like, you still have healing to do. I never thought that would happen in our family. It was like in my head, like I I can't tell you how many times like I thought of like, you know, I've never like that's never happened to me, but I've always wondered like if that had ever happened to me, like I don't know how I could get over it.
I don't know if I ever fully got over it. I just know that I still get emotional when I talk about it. And like any like older man that I see, like I have like this ick for them sometimes.
That's so sad, Adi.
It's okay. I mean, it happened a long time ago. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, it did like kind of like in a way open my eyes when I actually like think about it. Open my eyes to like thinking like just because you know somebody doesn't mean you fully know them.
Just because your family doesn't mean you can trust them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because they're family, you think that you could trust them, and they break your trust like that.
Yeah. So it kind of makes sense. Like that was the age that my dad stopped letting me go to Mexico. And then I remember when I was trying to like, I would always try to stay home by myself because I was like, oh, I'm 15. I can stay home alone, Mom. And she would be like, no, no, no. But it was probably for those reasons too, you know?
Yeah. That makes sense as to like maybe why they would never let us sleep over at anyone's house besides our aunt.
Yeah. And that was because they were right next door.
Yeah. But even then, we would still sleep over when she lived, where she lives right now.
Yeah, but I mean, after if you think about it, our whole childhood we were staying over here, so it was like okay to stay over there, you know. But like now, when I think about it, like my parents never really like they asked me what happened, but they never asked me, "Are you okay?" or like like those kind of questions.
Yeah.
So I feel like I never really like truly talked about it or healed from it.
We should talk to them.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe one day.
I feel weird bringing it up all these years later.
Well, apparently, I mean, obviously, it still impacts you. Like that's huge, you know. Like that is like you're never gonna forget it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's gonna it shapes you how you are now. It'll shape you how you raise your children, especially if you have a girl. Like it changes you.
But that was like, I think that was for me like a time where I did feel misunderstood by that person that I told, and I felt like some people really are just about themselves, honestly.
I also feel like sometimes too, obviously that person responded very rude. Like basically like, oh, it's been this long, you should get over it. And it's like, no. Like, yeah, sure, maybe if you broke up with someone, yeah, sure, you get over it. But you don't get over something like that.
Yeah.
You learn to live with it and you keep going.
Yeah. And it's weird though because like I'll read books about like stuff like that, and it sometimes triggers, it sometimes makes me sad, but then like other times I'm just like I'm okay with it. Like it's like it's like a hit and miss sometimes.
Was it like a one-time thing?
I don't know, because I have, like, different pictures in my head. Like, I remember different times, so I'm assuming it wasn't a one-time thing.
Your brain probably blocked it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't know unless you, like, went to, like, hypnosis or something.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I wouldn't want to remember anyway, whatever my brain is, like, taking away.
Yeah. How do you, explain in, I guess, kid-friendly terms, like, what happened is not okay and this is not supposed to happen, like, uh, until you're, like, way older,
Yeah.
and then it's not supposed to happen in that way, you know? Like, how do you explain to them boundaries and trust and, disrespect and, like, how do you say that to a 5-year-old?
Yeah, and how do you explain to them, like, if something like this happens, like, do you need to tell me right away? Like, it's not, like, what do you tell them, like, Like, how do you word it in a way that's not, like, scary to them?
Yeah, and even then, like, to touch on that point too, um, this is why they say when you're raising your kids, you tell them the proper name for every body part
Mhm.
because the last thing you need is you go to a police officer and, God forbid someone did something to your child and your child's like, they touched my cookie. And it's like, okay, well, what does cookie mean? And then you
Yeah.
say, well, we call her part cookie. And they're like, well, is she not confusing it with a real cookie?
Yeah.
And it's like, no. And so that's why you teach your kids the proper names. And if you hope this never happens to them, obviously, but if it did, they at least have the proper knowledge of like what is what and what's not supposed to be, touched by other people.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Addis.
Thank you, Nina. I was gonna say that's okay, but it's not okay.
It's not.
Talk about a plot twist right now.
I know. Like, I feel like if I try to think about like anything like that has like affected me where I talk to someone, I feel like most people receive it pretty well.
Mhm.
I know like my ex best friend, she would brush off a lot of things, and the only thing I can think of is like basically I think it was like in high school where I liked this guy and I told my best friend at the time about it. And I think she had his number too, and then she started talking to him too. And I was like, wow. And, I have always been like the biggest person in my friend group. Like,
Mhm.
no one has ever been bigger than me. And so, naturally, I feel like I never really tried to pursue guys for that reason because I just felt like, oh, no one wants to be with someone big.
At first, I thought you meant like the bigger person, where you're like you have to be like you have to take something. You know what I mean? Like
No, like literally big and round.
I realized what you mean. What you meant when you said nobody has ever been as big as me. I was like, what do you mean? And then I was like, oh, I see what you mean.
No, yeah. And so, like, I never really tried to pursue guys like that. And so, like, the one time where I actually was trying and then she was talking to him too. And so naturally, they would lean more towards her because she was thinner than me. It's not like she was like super duper skinny, but she was like a mid size
Mhm.
back then. So she was, she had her curves and whatnot. And so, like, that's the only thing I can really think of. And, like, obviously, uh, I remember we got in a fight about it. And I remember she said something like that she'd back off or something. But I was like, no, it's okay. You guys are obviously, you know, liking each other, then that's fine. And I just never really spoke to him again. But that was like the first time where like I was like I considered her my best friend and then she did that and I was like, I don't know, I feel like a best friend wouldn't have done that. And obviously we're not friends now. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, best friend wouldn't do that. That sounds like one of those. What is it, like a frenemy, where they try to be your friend, but they're actually your enemy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fake friend.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because you were vulnerable with her and telling her how you felt about this person.
Yeah.
And then they kind of dismissed it and went about their own way.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean about like whole like feeling like you're not to say the word fat, but like where I have felt that way. And what's it called? And you like go after, like, you like think this person's like cute, but they'll like, oh, they'll never go for me because of how I am, how I look, you know.
Yeah.
Loki, that's what I felt with Francisco too. I was like, oh my god, he's never gonna like me, because when I saw him, I was like, oh, that guy is hella fit. Like, not hella fit, but like he's in good shape. He's not gonna like me. I'm not even that cute. And look where we are now.
That too, like, now that you say that, that makes me think about like when I first like met Kyle, and I remember this was like before we actually met in person, where I was
Mhm.
like literally having a breakdown because I told him I was like I have to tell you, and I was like, I know I was like, it's okay if you don't want to talk to me anymore, but you need to know. And you know, and I was like, I weigh this much and this is what I look like, because like he had never seen like a
Mhm.
body picture of me, because like I just don't post those. And I remember him saying like, it's okay. I was like, he's like, I don't care what you look like. I like you, you know, it's
Mhm.
not your body. I like you. And I was like, okay, I guess you can come meet me.
It's almost like the blind dating show, the pod show.
Yeah. And because like they really do like uh connect like vulnerably, like that's all they have to go off of is like emotion and similar interests. And you know, they like, it's such a huge thing. Like vulnerability is huge when they see each other physically,
Mhm.
because like how do you know that you will actually like, you know, like them? You know, like obviously you know you like them if you propose to them, but like then like you're in your head mentally where you're like, but what if they see me and then they don't want me anymore?
Yeah, I could see that.
Like that, if I was in that show, oh my gosh, I would have like so many mental breakdowns. I'd be like, I'm a facade.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
fake. uh,
I know when I first met Francisco, he told me too. He's like, he thought that I was too good for him. Like, I would never go for a guy like him. And I was like, what do you
what?
mean? I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, you are a catch. You are handsome.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we have to think that way, you know?
Society made us that way.
Yes.
Seriously. It
Magazines,
did.
everything.
Yeah, where it's like you have to be this size 0. Like, come on.
I feel like going through postpartum, especially like the first week when you don't know like what the hell your body's going through, because I feel like it was in shock. I remember one
Honestly,
night I was
yeah.
just crying, but I didn't really know why I was crying. I was just crying. But Daniel was like
Yeah.
really supportive, and he like wanted to talk about it. But I was like, well, I don't even know what I want to talk about because I don't even know why I'm crying. He's like, well, are they like happy tears or sad tears? I was like, honestly, I can't even tell you. I was like, I don't know. I think it was like the whole like sleep deprived and, you know, like pumping. And like I did go through like a hard time trying to pump and breastfeed at the beginning.
I
So I
remember.
don't know if it was just like a mixture of everything,
Yeah.
but I can't really say like that's why I was crying. Like I don't know why I was
Yeah.
crying, but I was.
I will say that too, like the first, like not even just the first week, it's like the first month, it's just like you're literally an emotional wreck, just because your hormones are all over the place and you're taking care of this baby that needs you like every hour on the hour.
Yeah, and then we also had like so many visitors from like both sides that it
Mhm.
was just
Yeah.
like on the go. Like everyone was texting us that they wanted to come, and like, you know, like the families are
Yeah.
both big on each side. So I feel like I was just in a state of mind where I was just trying to get through the day and like nap when I could and like just get
Uh-huh.
ready for like just and then trying to pump and then remembering to eat and then like trying to be a host and you know going through my own physical recovery. Like I can't really like, but then I don't know if I was crying because I was like happy or if it was just overwhelmed. I don't know.
Probably overwhelmed.
That's a lot.
But then like Daniel wanted to talk about it and I was like, well, I don't even know what I want to talk about because I don't know why I'm crying exactly.
I'm glad though that he actually did try to talk to
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, and I was trying to like secretly cry in the bed and he heard me and he's like, are you okay?
She had to like On the side over here.
It was all dark and the baby was in her bassinet, but I mean, she was a baby, so
Right?
it didn't really
It's not like
bother her, I
wake her
guess,
up.
you know?
Yeah.
But
Wait,
yeah,
I
I
mean, it
remember
makes
that.
sense though, because like at the time your mind is trying to rest, but at the same time, like your mind is still thinking about all these other things, and that's when it just like kind of was like it just like shut down, you know, and it just
Yeah.
let you feel it all. I want to reflect on this part. Like personally, why do you feel like it's hard to say I'm not okay? And then have you ever felt relief after sharing what you were going through?
I think it's just like two. I think like there's two reasons really, like why it's hard to say that you're not okay.
I think it's hard too, like to say you're not okay. I don't know why. I feel like when you want to talk about how you're feeling in a way, I feel like my heart kind of like goes a lot faster, like it starts beating fast. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna share something that I don't want to share, or not that I don't want to share, but that I don't really share. And then I feel a little bit
Yeah.
of stress, like how are they gonna react, and how do I get it out? You know?
But also too, also it's just like if you're always happy and there's never anything wrong with you, like people just assume that everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you tell them that you're not actually fine, it's like, oh, you're not okay. It's almost like you're putting on a facade in a way
Mm-hmm.
because you are.
In
You
a
know,
sense, I feel like you sometimes like I'll feel okay at the time,
yeah.
even though like something will upset me, I'll just kind of like push past it and I'll feel okay. But then like I don't want to talk to that person in general. I might talk to somebody else instead.
It's also too like, if the right person asks, "Are you okay?" Sometimes you just start crying because
Mhm.
it's just like, it's almost like you technically have like held it in for so long that it's like, okay, maybe this is the person that you can actually start expressing your feelings to, and that they'll listen. Obviously, you don't know how they'll react, but you can only hope that they react how you want them to.
Yeah.
And some people give great advice, and some people don't know how to give advice, but they can be a good listener.
Mhm.
They have a good ear to listen, and you can vent to them and tell them what's wrong, and sometimes that's all you need. You just need to tell someone what's wrong, you need to get it off your chest, and you just need a good session to cry it out, and then you know give each other a hug and move on, because there's like maybe sometimes it's things where you can't help them and you can't give them advice because you've never been through that.
Yeah. So it's hard to like especially like say like you taught me something about Cammy and I don't know the first thing about parenting, you know? I can tell
Right.
you what I think should be right, but it's not going to be the same because I'm not a parent.
Yeah. And it's just like the only thing that you can do is try to be there for them the best you can. And that's the best you can do. And if the best you can do is not enough, then I don't know what could be enough, you know?
Go to a therapist next.
Yeah. Uh, but I feel like, uh, especially as you get older, I think it's easier. At least for me, I feel like it is easier to say like when I'm not okay.
Mhm.
Because like, because I feel like at this age you kind of have built pretty strong friendships,
Mhm.
and they know how you are, who you are, and I mean, unless you've never been vulnerable with them, obviously. They don't know all of you, but at that point, like if I were to talk to like my best friend, like she knows, everything about me basically, that she knows the right response to everything, and even if there is no right response, like she knows how to be there for me.
I think for me to like say I don't think I have a best friend only because I probably don't let myself have a best friend, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I find
That
it
makes
hard to like
sense.
I find it hard to like trust people sometimes. And I think it's just because of like the whole J and I kind of person. And
Mhm.
then like after that um I had some like good friends, and then I had this girl at work who was my friend, and I told her the whole thing about my uncle, and after that, and then like maybe like a few months later, she just kind of turned on me, and she just kind of like, I don't know, was being bitchy. So then I was like, it's hard for me to like trust somebody and then have that, you know what I mean, like be open after having be like that, you know?
Yeah. I feel like too, like some people, you'll find that they're just friends for you because there's like no one else for them to be friends with.
Mhm.
But then the moment that like the right person comes to them,
They
they're
just
like,
kind of,
"Oh, okay, I like this person better, and I'm gonna stop being friends with this other person."
yeah.
And
So
it's
like right
like,
now, I think I have like, yeah, I have like some friends like okay, I stopped hanging out with Letty but I mean like she's kind of busy now that she's a mom too, you know, like
yeah,
I don't really hit her up. She has a new relationship. She has like a mom. I do message. I like something that she posts on Instagram. I'll comment saying, "Oh my god, congrats" and stuff like that. You know.
uh-huh.
Um, like they're more like acquaintances to this point now.
Yeah,
And I tried so hard to like be there with them, but I feel like sometimes I shut myself out, and I don't want to say I do it on purpose, but I feel like I do it on purpose. Like I don't want to
uh-huh.
get to that emotional point with somebody anymore, other than like my other half, you
Yeah,
know. And I know that's kind of bad. It's probably like it might be like a little bit of trauma from like past friendships,
I
but
think that's pretty
yeah,
good though, because you always want to be able to talk to your significant other about
mhm,
everything,
yeah,
yeah,
Because if you can't, then they're supposed to be like your person and your other half. And if you can't do that with them, then that's I guess, a whole other topic.
yeah,
But maybe the reason too why you don't open up with people is because one, they don't know your whole backstory. Two, they're not the right person who you want to open up to. Or three, you're just not ready to talk about it too.
What about you, Chad? Do you find it hard to say you're not okay? And have you ever felt relief after finally sharing what you were going through?
I don't think I find it hard to say I'm not. Maybe because like usually Daniel knows when I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Because we like talk about a lot. And even like during the day, he'll be like, and it doesn't have to be about like what's going on personally, but like we'll keep each other updated if like something's going on. He'll be like, babe, guess what? And like fill me on whatever's going on. But then I'll do the same. But then like if something's going on, then it's something that we usually like discuss together
Mhm.
when like the baby's gone to bed or whatever. We'll usually talk about like serious things. So we try to keep, I don't know if it's in touch with each other, I guess is the word. But we can usually tell like when we're not ourselves.
yeah,
But it's never really like it's not a question that we ask. We kind of just know when one or the other isn't okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Like we'll talk about whatever's going on if something is going on, but it's not really like, oh, are you okay? Like I don't know,
yeah.
we go about it a little differently and it just works for us.
Okay, you guys are in tune with each other's emotions in a way.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I feel like that's how we are too. Like, it won't be like hey, are you okay? It's
Mm-hmm. It's more like a hey, what's wrong?
yeah, pretty much.
And I do want to say, if like somebody has trouble being vulnerable, you guys have to remember it's not a weakness. It's actually something very brave to do,
Mm-hmm.
being vulnerable with somebody else.
Reach it, sister.
All right, so this brings me to like signs you're emotionally checked out, but pretending you are okay. Saying I'm fine too often can often be a red flag. It could be, I don't know if you guys have examples, but um, you can feel numb. You can have the feeling that you're on autopilot. You're struggling to care about things that you used to enjoy. Being overly productive to avoid dealing with emotions. So you're like busying yourself, kind of thing. Smiling and laughing around others, but then you come home alone and you're crying. And then you avoid serious conversations. You are isolating from friends. Oh my god, I'm isolating from friends too. Am my emotions all okay, guys? Just kidding.
Are you okay?
I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I think those are all like things that you should be aware of. If you feel like you're doing those things, then maybe it's time to like take a little time to yourself and think about what's going on that could be triggering this,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe talking to somebody else too. Honestly, sometimes just saying things out loud kind of helps too.
Yeah. I feel though too, like every person should definitely find one person that they know that they can go to,
Mm-hmm.
who you can trust with, your feelings, because I don't think it's nice for yourself to just have to deal with it all by yourself all the time.
Mm-hmm. They should make an app where you like talk to strangers, because I don't know why, but people say it's always easier to like talk to a stranger rather than somebody you know. So like if you feel like you're going through that, there should be an app where you talk to strangers, tell them what's going on. They tell you their advice, or they just listen to you, and then just leave it at that, and you walk
Leave
away.
you on red.
No, at least like acknowledge it, you know.
But I feel like that's why a lot of the times you say that you're fine because you don't want to talk to that one person. Like you either want to talk to somebody and not necessarily like get advice, but like sometimes you just want to like just
Talk.
say it. Yeah, you don't want anything in return. You just want somebody to listen, but you also don't want like somebody that's like in your inner circle. Maybe you just want to like bang, get it out.
Oh, I got it. Go to the bar. Go to the bar. Tell them how you're feeling. The other bar,
We live in a small town. You can't do that.
the bar people will acknowledge your feelings,
Honestly, they probably would.
especially if they're drunk.
I'm sure they've had plenty of people like confess the craziest things.
I feel like I sometimes try to I don't try to avoid serious conversations. I feel like I'm picky with who I have my serious conversations with.
I feel like too, I even think about like just like us, you know, like I don't think we've ever had any crazy serious conversations. Like me and you, or like,
Mhm.
you know, even with Chen, like, or even with our younger sister, like, I don't think we've had any of like these like super serious conversations. Like, I know I've had like tons with Kyle, but when I think about it that way, I'm like, I don't think, are you okay?
Are you okay? I don't know. I feel like maybe it's because probably like between ourselves we don't we're not, I don't want to say we're not toxic, but like, you know what I mean? Like we're not triggering each other to feel certain ways where we need to have a serious conversation with each other. And then like if you do want to have a serious conversation, it's usually probably most of the time it's about your relationship or something, and you'd rather have that with the person you're in a relationship with, you know, because you don't want to bring other people's judgment into your own relationship.
Nope.
But I feel like you've talked to me about and like stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of serious.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably been the most toxic. I don't even want to say toxic friendship just because it literally is like a friendship that just turned one-sided for so long, and then I just finally gave up. And I'm like, if someone really wanted to talk to me, they would, and apparently she doesn't, so.
Yeah, it's her loss anyway. Have you ever noticed that you were checking out emotionally and didn't realize it until later?
I feel like you don't realize until you're like there. Like you don't notice it at the beginning until somebody notices it for you, or until like you realize like, why have I been feeling down lately, or you know.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, when I notice it, when I start getting like emotional over any little thing, like I'll just randomly like my eyes will start tearing up over like something so random. Like I'll look at a grain of rice. But like, you know, that's obviously like exaggerating,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's probably when I would notice it.
I don't think I've ever emotionally checked out, unless I mean like emotionally checked out of a relationship, which I've done, mostly because like somebody will like do the same thing they always do, the thing that you always tell them, like you need to stop doing this because it's like emotionally draining for me or whatever it is, you know, and they're doing it again, and I'm just kind of like, oh my god, here we go again. So I don't say anything, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm so done with this shit, you know.
Yeah.
But that's like the only kind of checking out I've ever done, and I've never done any like personal emotionally checking out.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
I've never been to that point.
I feel like that's a little severe.
Hard. Yeah, severe.
Yeah,
That's when you need help with somebody professional, probably.
for sure.
To wrap it up, we're going to recap a little bit. So emotional masking is common, but it's not sustainable. So if you are emotionally masking, you know, try to deal with that. Try to talk to somebody. Being vulnerable does feel scary, but it's how we begin to heal. Being not okay is not failure. It's feedback from your body and your mind. So I encourage everybody to be vulnerable, to feel that if you are not okay, that it's okay. It's a lot of okays, but that it's fine and you need to talk and let that out.
Yeah, like that. I think it is a saying or saying it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. You don't have to fake it. You deserve to feel real, and you deserve to feel supported.
Yeah.
And I think if today's episode did hit somebody, like hit home with somebody, you should share it. Share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it. Share your thoughts with us about of a time when you thought you were not okay. You know, tell us about it. Thank you so much for listening to our episode today. We had an okay time. Just kidding. We had a good time talking about this. It's something we all want to talk about. We all need to heal in some sort of way. We all need some help from whether it's an individual in your life or a therapist. Let us know your own thoughts and DM us any stories you can have about this at Brunch N Banter Pod on TikTok and Instagram, or our email at brunchandbanter@gmail.com. Yeah, stay tuned for our next episode, and we hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.